this week, the NYPD is commemorating one of their own because it's been 10 years since an NYPD officer was shot and killed by another NYPD officer who mistook him, a black man, for a robbery suspect somehow. So it started as Officer Omar Edwards approached a man breaking into his car. Edwards was in plain clothes and wearing a handgun as he chased the suspect past a police car. Authorities say the officer who shot him didn't realize Edwards was a police officer. So as Officer Edwards is running after his suspect, two other officers pull up in an unmarked car. Officer Andrew Dutton got out and shouted for Officer Edwards to stop and put his weapon down. So as you can imagine, he's chasing his suspect and potentially doesn't even hear this. The officers reported that after the command was given, Edwards turned toward Dutton with his gun in his hand. Dutton fired his Glock 9mm 6 times, hitting Edwards 3 of those times, once in the left arm, once in the left side, and once in the back, according to police. Emergency crews responding to the scene found Officer Edwards wearing a Police Academy t-shirt under his clothes and found his police shield and ID in his front left pants pocket, according to the police commissioner. Now, Officer Edwards was recently married with 2 young kids. I think his wife was 22 years old at the time and he was 25. Officer Dutton, whose colleagues described him as being devastated by Edwards' death, he was subsequently cleared by a grand jury and returned to full duty. He worked in the juvenile justice unit and was later promoted to sergeant.
So a number of issues here. Number one is they shoot too quick. They just do. And so I remember all the shows we used to watch when we were kids, and the police would say, "Stop! Put your hands up! Freeze!" You'd go through a whole process. Now, oftentimes people cops shoot within 2 seconds. It happened to Ramir Rice. It has happened in dozens and dozens of cases, and here it's against a fellow officer. Now, I get it. He wasn't wearing his uniform, but I also get that there's a lot of different situations. Tamir Rice was a 12-year-old who had a toy gun. If you stopped and tried to figure it out, maybe if you were behind your police car and being cautious but not shooting, you would have found out that the kid had a toy gun and not a real gun. Another incident in a Walmart where, again, a black customer had picked up a toy gun that Walmart was selling, and he was shopping, right? They shot him, Crawford, in 2 seconds. So the whole incident lasted 6 seconds, but they shot within 2. So you will shoot the wrong guy a lot if you shoot within 2 seconds.
But you're shooting the black guy, and the reality of it is, how many of these white guys who've shot up people and killed people you've disarmed and arrested and taken without harming? Like, and it happens over and over again. How many of guys who don't look like you? So I feel bad about this, but I believe that these police officers, the good apples, you guys need to step up. You need to step up, because you black cops who are just a black guy to police officers when you're not in your uniform, you are reminded that you are just a black guy to them. And if that guy was white, did you see the video of that man who fought the cop? He physically fought that cop, and he did not get shot. He didn't even get tased.
Sean King put out a video the other day of a mom at a playground, like takes a cop and wrestles him to the ground, and like etc. And of course, it's a white mom. They're not going to shoot the white mom. If a black guy did that, dead. And you know it, and you know it.
All he would have to do is turn around, and that's the thing. It's like a video game. Certain things scare you and startle you, and nobody's ready to acknowledge that that's just the truth in that. He was in plain clothes, but you were in a plain vehicle, because if you were in a marked car, he would have stopped when he saw his police brethren roll by.
Exactly.
That's not what happened. All of a sudden, he's in the midst of this. He hears somebody yell, he turns around. That's what normal people do, right?
So, yeah, last 2 things. Everybody's now mourning like crazy over this, and of course they should, because it's a tragedy. What if it wasn't a cop? What if it was just a normal African-American guy? Would we have the same reaction? Or right now, would they be telling you about how he once smoked pot, and he was this and he was that, and did he have it coming? So why don't we treat everybody the same? And the last thing is, if you notice, they said he got shot in the back. What happened to turning around? I'm not so sure about that.
Oh, you're right.
On the go? Don't worry, we got you covered. You can still listen to TYT at our new podcast network. Find us on Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store, or at tyt.com/podcast.